Good morning, you fabulous lot of people. It's me, Kwak from Kwak Talk. So you are watching Kwak TV because why watch Kwak TV? Where you can watch Kwak TV. Me, Kwak. Hope you are all well. We are starting a fresh week today. So if you are watching live, please jump in the comments. Say good morning to me. Say everything else. And if you are watching on replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments because I like to know who stalks me. Remember, you can catch every single... I'll do it right this time. I always get the way that way a bit more about there. You can catch every replay on YouTube as well. Kwak Talks, make sure you go and search and click for it. So yes, it is bloody fabulous. But today's guest, before I bring them on very, very shortly, never met before till now. I'm loving this. Never met. And if you want to make sure that you want to tune in, we're going to be talking cheesecake. There's your little golden nugget. Cheesecake and business. That's what we're probably going to be talking about today. So make sure you tune in if you like cheesecake. But yes, it's a fabulous week. I hope everyone had a lovely week. And I will admit I was very hungover yesterday. And I think lots of other people were very, very hungover because I had a fabulous Saturday. Had a few drinks, got me mop chopped. Honestly, it didn't grow shorter overnight. I actually got this professionally done. And no, before some sarcastic bastard says, I didn't get a receipt, so I can't return it. All right. So, yes, it's been a fabulous weekend and a fabulous start to the week. But as well, I like to do every morning, I'm going to do my days of the year. So my days of the year, I really love doing these. And I know I say this every day I do the show. But every day of the year is a different celebration. Sometimes you get celebrated months or weeks. It's great. So your days of the year today, and the reason I also like doing this is because if people are struggling in business for social media content today, they can use one of these and say, did you know it was blah, blah, blah. So today is Bicycle Day. Oh, do you know what? I just used to refer to a certain girl at school as a bike because she was a cow. I can say that, it's my show. But yes, it's Bicycle Day. Get your bikes out. Go for a good old bike ride. It's also Hanging Out Day, and by that it means you're washing. It is glorious in East Yorkshire. I can't think where I live then. It's glorious in East Yorkshire today. It's Hang Your Washing Out Day. It's also Rice Ball Day. Get your rice balls out, people. That's all I'm saying. It's also Poetry and the Creative Mind Day. I love poetry. I actually have a poetry book that I read from time to time. And it's also Garlic Day. I can't say that without sounding common. Garlic. I can't say it without sounding common. But no, I love garlic. Absolutely love it. To the point is, like, my dad even has a 40 or 60 clove garlic chicken. Yeah, it's pungent, people. No vampires coming near me. Who have we got? Good morning, Tanya Stevens, back here stalking again. Off to go make my breakfast. Good morning to you, my lovely lady. And who else we've got? Oh, Mr. Lee Gleason. What was the stylist name? Stevie Wonder. Shut up, Lee. I knew someone would have something to say. I knew they would. And it's always him. Go check out LW Plants. Fabulous, fabulous business. Based in Hull. They are absolutely amazing. So make sure you go check them out. But with no further ado, today's guest, like I said, never met before. Ever. He is in a similar Facebook group as mine, which was by Fidel Burhill, the Modern Man, who I had Fidel on the show a couple of weeks ago for Coaches Week, and it was a fabulous, fabulous show. And thanks to that, today's guest has booked on as well. We are going to be talking cheesecake and business and how starting a food business during lockdown was the best decision that Darren has ever made. So with no further ado, please bring on the Cheesecake Maestro himself. Oh, Maestro, I hope he likes that. Over to you, Darren. Good morning.
Good morning, Callum. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, my love?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. And thank you very much for the introduction there. Cheesecake Maestro sounds really good.
I think stick with that. That came from nowhere. Where that came from. Good old Cheesecake Maestro. That's fabulous. But no, Darren, before we dive in a nutshell, just who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name's Darren. I'm 33 years old. I live in the south of England, just outside of London. And for the last 3.5 years, I've worked in social media management and marketing, digital marketing, all that lovely sit at your desk sort of stuff. Yeah. And just last year, going into lockdown, that kind of all came to a bit of a screeching halt. And aside from kind of sitting on my hands, I kind of just got up and decided to do something with my spare time. And making cheesecakes was my thing. And it's just kind of snowballed from there, really.
Right. So what not a lot of people know about me is I'm actually a trained and qualified chef. Awesome. That's a fact before anyone checks it, right? I'm not experienced. There's a difference. My chef wife is I am trained and qualified. Especially someone goes, "What, by your nan?" No, I actually am. But no, it's great. But when people say cheesecakes, sometimes they don't mean proper cheesecakes, like where it's a wedge of diabetes. You know what I mean? Like that's a proper cheesecake.
It
So
is, yeah.
why cheesecakes? Why did you go with cheesecakes?
So I learned how to make them when I was at school. It was part of my like food tech class. It was the only A star that I ever got. I've typically kind of burn everything else. So it kind of like stuck with me that actually, okay, I'm pretty good at this. So every kind of family occasion, birthday, Christmas, previous to that, it would always be on me to make the dessert for the family and stuff. So it's kind of been a trend for a little while now, going on sort of 15 years almost since I left school. So it was just kind of like it's always been something I've always known how to make and make really well. I never thought that it would ever turn into a business. But yeah, lockdown was as good an opportunity as any to start something new.
Yeah, but so was you doing it to pass your time and you kind of went, "Oh, I can do something with this," or was it was that your original intention? What was it? Where did you go with that?
Yeah, it was never my intention to turn it into a business at all. So I, as I said, made a couple for the family previously, and then just through lockdown, I just started posting pictures on Facebook and Instagram, and it just kind of come out of the blue that like family members were like, "Oh, we would really like one too. Like, how much would it cost and stuff?" And at first, I was just charging for the ingredients. So it was like sort of, I'll just chuck us a fiver or whatever, £6 and whatever. But then as more and more people started to ask for them, it was like, okay, there's an opportunity here. So it was then sit down time, business plan, like what's it going to cost, etc., etc. And that was we're rolling on now for 12 months in business. Made over 600 cakes in that time. We've brought on resellers, so like street food vendors. A couple of pubs now stock our items as well. So it's gone mad in the last 12 months.
But the thing is, and I'm obviously a massive foodie. I always have been. And food is the international language. It is.
Yeah.
I don't know where you come from. Food is the international language, whether it's sweet, savory, snacks, drinks, it can be anything. It's the only thing that speaks the same volumes to most people. And it's absolutely amazing. But so it's like, when you was doing it, was it just focusing on cheesecakes? Because obviously, or something like that? Because I take it blew up because of social media, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So even when you went, I'm going to make this into a business, did you expect it to carry on for 12 months?
No, my initial intention really was to just go back to my day job. And I have done to a degree, but where before I needed sort of 10, 15 clients to tick over and be okay. Now I can work with less than half of that. And then this kind of second business that's come out of nowhere is really my main source of income.
Yeah. And can I ask, obviously with what the last 12 months have been like, what's doing this for your own sanity?
I guess it was a little bit, yeah, because as I said, when the first lockdown first kicked in, I went from having 12 paying clients to one literally overnight. It was literally in that first week of exactly. Because a lot of the businesses that I worked with were small businesses in themselves. So one of the first things to be cut was external contractors, and essentially what they believed were things that they didn't need. They were trying to cut costs, and unfortunately I was it's that kind of like last in first out kind of deal. I totally understood it. I assumed, and as we all did at the time, that it would be 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We'll see it through, and then we'll go back to normal. But as that time passed, it was like, okay, all right, this is going to go on a bit longer than that now. And so it was just kind of boredom set in, sat in the house, couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do nothing. And so it just kind of became almost like a family thing as well, like just to all get in the kitchen and all play our part. I had my stepdaughter was making like the biscuit bases, and I was doing the creams, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and But it's so nice. So I'll tell you what, let's get like real cute for a minute. It's when I was growing up, my mum's a qualified and trained chef, very well experienced. It's not what she does now, but she used to do it in her 20s, early 30s. And like you're saying, with all your family diving in then, my mum used to get asked all the time to do like buffets and catering for people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, someone's died. Can you do a buffet for us? And I remember in particular, it was vol au vents. And we had a vol au vent kind of like section going. You kind of had like one was rolling, one was cutting, one was putting in the oven, one was taking out, one was pressing in, one was filling, one was wrapping. I'm the youngest of four, so there was enough hands, trust me. But it really is and can dive in, because obviously we knew my mum was getting paid for that, but we didn't really process it. It was just kind of like a family thing we was doing. But I know my mum obviously cherishes them memories because of what it was. I can imagine you're the exact same with your family diving in and helping you with these cheesecakes as well. I can only imagine it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say as the business has grown and become a bit more successful and become a bit busier, I kind of have become a little bit more precious about it. Yeah. So like I'm a little bit more like perfectionist, like, oh God, it needs to be straight and it needs to be this, that, and the other. So yeah, the kids and all that still get involved with like when we're making them for ourselves and in the house. But from a customer point of view, it's kind of me, myself, and I at the moment, because I just want to be. Like I say, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to stuff going out the door.
So no, I completely agree with you. What would you say in your cheesecakes are the 3 best traits of a good cheesecake, or in your eyes, a good cheesecake? Come on, dish the bet.
So what you want is you want quite a thick biscuit base, and you want quite a bit of butter and a little bit of sugar in, just to make that bit kind of sweet as well. And then for me particularly, my cheese toppings are almost 3 times as thick as that. So you've then got you've got a nice like smooth creamy layer, and then you hit the crunch at the bottom. It's I get a lot of
it actually goes like as it like you cut it. It's kind of I love that. Yes. And the one thing that I know from the past, because I've done it myself, that a lot of people make the mistake of making cheesecake. They put too much other liquids in it, don't they? And it just doesn't set. It just will not set no matter what you do.
That's right.
It's so important. That's like anything in life, in business. I better give this some meaning, otherwise I'm just waffling on about cheesecakes. But it's so right. And obviously, like you're saying, you perfected it. You now know how you want it. And you've had 12 years of perfecting it? So it's absolutely insane. What have you learned during that time with making cheesecakes about life or anything? Come on, get profound. Is there anything you've learned with doing it?
Well, I think the resilience to just kind of like start something up when everyone else was closing down. That was my biggest lesson. I mean, I stepped out on my own into self-employment, as I said, about 3 years ago, doing social media and stuff. And that was quite, it was very similar to that. Like my first 12 months as a freelancer were horrible. Like trying to win clients and trying to convince myself that I was good enough and things like that. Was kind of a similar journey with this. Like when I made that first cake and I was selling it to someone that I outside of the family, like that I'd never met before. So someone just randomly contacted me on Facebook, said, "Can you make this for me?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I can do that. That's fine." But the internal battle was massive, because it was like, I don't know this person. They don't have to be nice to me because they know me. Like if they don't like it and they're paying their money, they're going to tell me that they don't like it. And that was always kind of a fear at the back of my mind that, I could get this horribly, horribly wrong.
You could. But it's always one of them things, me being a business coach, the hardest thing is, and people don't really think about this, I'm helping with someone with their business. And a lot of people go, yeah, well, that's great. This like no clarity. It's like, well, no, that's even worse. I've got to worry about their business, because if anything happens to theirs, it affects mine. And like you're saying, on the form of credibility, if you start sending out shit products, no one's going to want to frigging buy it. Like people really need to understand that. We've got a couple of comments, so bear with me. Right, so we've got Kirsty Hall. Good morning, Kirsty. First of all, absolutely love making cheesecake. Got ingredients to make one this week. I know Kirsty's got a little bambino, bless her. So I know Bambino will be getting her fingers in that bowl. Tanya would like to know, where can we buy Darren's cheesecakes from in North Kent? Do you know anywhere off the top of your head, or is there anywhere? If there isn't, message Tanya.
There's nowhere outside of Basingstoke at the moment, unfortunately, Tanya. But we are working on it.
Road trip, Tanya. Road trip. COVID rules apply, obviously.
Of course.
And I just wanted to point this out. Can't have a gathering without vol-au-vents. I do believe you've spelt that correct, Tanya. I will point that out. I do think you've spelt that correct. But yeah, I was working at, I hold my hand, like, a lot of people won't talk about it. I worked at Aldi through COVID from March 1st to December 1st. I've never done retail before other than my own business because I used to own one. And that was insane. But the reason I brought that up was vol-au-vents. Someone asked me midway through the year if we had vol-au-vents. And I went, no, they're a Christmas thing. I went, oh, are they? I just eat them every week. We'll just leave them in the freezer. I'm like, who the fuck eats vol-au-vents on a weekly basis? Like, who the fuck eats vol-au-vents? Like, what? It's one of them things, you get it, and it's not practical. You bite it, the mixture. Oh, don't like them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my little soapbox moment about vol-au-vents. So what's the plan moving forward for you, obviously? Now the world's reopening. You've already mentioned you're inside a couple of eateries, like pubs and things like that. What is the plan moving forward for you?
Yeah, so the plan will be to expand that a little bit. So to get into more pubs and restaurants and street food and things like that as a form of resale and ability to just kind of expand the range as well in terms of where people can get the products from. There's a plan in place now as well over the next 12 months that cash into the business is going to be saved, and we're going to be looking at high street commercial properties. I'd love to be able to open up a kind of coffee shop, tea shop kind of place that sells the cheesecakes, and you can just come in and have a cup of coffee, have a slice of cake. I've got this kind of like vision in my head as well. Like it's very like Central Perk from Friends. Like it's like sofa and a little stage area for open mics and stuff like that, open till 10 o'clock at night and all that. And people just kind of wander in and out for coffee, cheesecake, and a little bit of music.
I love it. Make sure it's not someone that sounds like Phoebe, though. You don't need that. You don't need that shit in it. But no, it's so important. You know, I have a friend that everyone thought, a bit like yourself probably, thought there was a bit mad during lockdown because they bought a pub.
Yeah.
They bought a pub during lockdown when there was all shut, and they went, why? And they went, this one's been shut in, like, it's in a village. There was like, in this village, there's no other pub for about a year. When everything reopens, everyone in that village is going to want a drink. So, that's actually genius. It's like, yes, it's furnished, it's got everything in it. It's going to open. I can probably really guess people did think you was mad, didn't they? Like,
yeah, I mean, at the time when like the big established food retailers were closing down, I was just opening up. It didn't seem to make a lot of sense at the time. But I guess where kind of lockdown restricted those businesses from being open on the high street, for me, working out of my kitchen at home, it was that there was a lot less limitations in that respect. Yes, I had to register with the local council. I had to open myself up to environmental health to come round and do a check on the kitchen. We've got our little 5-star sticker on our front door, so we're all COVID safe and hygiene and everything else. So we've got all that done. But in terms of having a storefront, we don't have that. It's literally just the front door to my house. So there's nothing really stopping people from ordering online, contactless payment, knocking on my front door, and then just handing over a box. It's really straightforward. Whereas the high street, very limited in what they can do at the moment with social distancing and everything else in place. Yeah,
it's basically like just a cheesecake pantry, kind of like just open the door, thanks, there you go. We need to get you a little swing sign, like just saying like the Cheesecake Factory or something for outside. Yes. I don't mind doing this as I'm talking, like a little swing sign out the front saying Cheesecake Factory. That'd be awesome. I really like that.
Well, I've got this. I got these little stickers that I made. They go on the boxes normally, but I've got one on the back of my phone.
I love it. The proper cheese. I love it. The proper cheese. Oh, I like that. That's good. Yeah. Sorry, that good branding makes my mouth water a little bit. It really,
Yeah.
really does. So, Darren, you know, as we know, I ask a few people a few questions before they come on. With you wanting to grow, are you going Dragon's Den style? Are you doing it all yourself? What are you wanting? What's the style going forward?
Yeah, I think like I mentioned, I mean, a lot of the cash that's coming into the business right now is being saved. We would like to open up a high street venue, ideally in the next 12 months with the pattern of growth in the forecast. But realistically, I think to be able to maintain that, we might need to look for investment. I did actually mention to my partner a couple of weeks ago, like it was like a light bulb. Oh, Dragon's Den, that would be pretty cool to go on there and have that kind of experience. But yeah, ultimately, I think investment is going to be the next step to kind of really take it on to a bigger platform. I have kind of thought about what the business model looks like in the future. I think franchising is probably going to be my best option, unless I do get backed by a mystery millionaire that can help me open up all these different branches. But I guess like franchising for me is very hands-off management as well, because they're just buying the license and the keys to the kingdom almost, and then it's being managed by themselves rather than me having to drive up and down the country, popping into all these different stores to make sure everything's okay all the time.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. That's why McDonald's is so successful. It's for example, in Hull where I live, all the McDonald's, every single one of them is owned by one person.
Yeah, it's the same situation here. We've got we've got 4 McDonald's and they're all owned by one single person.
Yeah, so true. But Darren, honestly, do you know what? I've been talking for about 25 minutes. Jesus Christ. It absolutely flies by. But no, honestly, so where can people get your cheesecakes from? Where can we get the deets from? What can we do?
Yeah, so you can follow the Proper Cheesecake Company on Facebook, at Proper Cheesecake on Instagram. If you're outside of Basingstoke at the moment, you just get to look at the lovely pictures. We are trying to figure out a delivery method. We have trialed it. It failed spectacularly.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had one customer that was happy to pay for it, and she said it arrived upside down. And yeah, all kind of smashed about in the box, so it didn't really work. So we need that. I mean, I think that's kind of like the next thing that we need to solve is how do we get it outside of the town limits. So as soon as that's done, I'll be sure to jump back on and let everybody know so they can come and buy.
Yeah, do. And I've got an idea for you. So what I'm going to say is stick around. I'll have a little bit of a natter with you afterwards because I've got an idea for you. So awesome. Darren, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really, really loved having you on. Like I said, never met you before. It's great. And now all I want is fucking cheesecake. Thanks. But Darren, have a lovely day. Have a lovely week. And I'll speak to you later on.
Awesome, Callum. Thank you very much.
Right, bye. Oh, love that. Anyone else craving cheesecake? Bad looks of it, yeah. Okay, I think cheesecake shopping is essential travel. Yeah, so do I after that. Jesus Christ. But yes, what a fabulous show today with the one and only Darren Butler from the Proper Cheesecake Company. Oh, that's what we like. Make sure you tune in tomorrow where I've got another guest I've never met before. Kelly Swingler, I hope I've said that surname correctly, is on the show tomorrow. So make sure you check that out. And make sure, like I said, you go to my YouTube channel to find out the replay of every single one. And Fidel, who me and Darren both know, was on the show a couple of weeks ago. So if you want to see that interview, make sure you go and check it out as well. He's a fabulous, fabulous guy. So with no further ado, everyone, have a I know I said cracking. I meant to say quacking. Have a quacking day today. There we go. See, still on brand. And remember, in the words of Banana, if you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, don't get caught.